Let's go. We got Greg. Okay. You ready for said interview, right?
I don't think anybody could be ready or prepared for this.
All right. Welcome, Villain Viver audience, if anyone actually watches this. Welcome to the 20th placer of Villain Viver Season 8. Give me a second. Deathcast calling Ryssi exit interview. I had to look it up real quick.
Alright.
Okay. So it's been like let's see, it's like 7:53. It's been like 3 hours since like you got voted off, technically.
Yeah, it's only been like 2 hours since I found out though, so that's lame.
Okay, so like it's been like 2 hours since you've known you've been voted off. So like, I guess my first question is like, any initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts. I wasn't like shocked because I was like, when I was talking my confessional, I was like doing trust rankings, I was like, wow, I'm feeling a little too cocky. I'll probably feel a little too safe at this point, but I think I can survive this vote. But once we hit that twist, I was like, I feel like eventually I'm gonna end up on a tribe where people are either aligned or I end up having to target somebody who I was aligned with, and that'll backfire on me. And I'm not positive that's what happened here, but yeah, that's my initial thought. That was my initial thought when I was voted out.
I guess that kind of segues into like my next question, where I mean, you just said you're not like sure, but I was gonna say like if you had to like pick like a reason why you think you were like the vote here, like why people like the majority decided to vote you off, like what like
Okay.
could you like ponder on like any possible reason why?
So I spread a name a lot last night. I spread Malachi's name. And people were pretty receptive to it, but I was trying to be like really careful about it. I was like, Ava threw out Malachi. I'm not positive. I don't think anything's set in stone, but I was still spreading Malachi's name, and that was very clear. And that probably got back to him. And then it was like, oh, and then he was like, oh, that's surprising because Ryssi told me he was on my side, and then that might have spread because I told a lot of people I was on their side for this vote. I would like tell them if I heard a name, which was true until I heard Malachi's name from Ava, who was like a really close ally of mine, and so was Malachi, and that really I think might have screwed me over. Just like a conflict between two allies who I had both had just said like I'm loyal to you.
That's fair. Okay. Do you think targeting Malachi, this tribal council, was a mistake given in like, the outcome that we know of now?
I mean, given the outcome, obviously I would say it was a mistake, but given the information I had in the game, I did not think it was any kind of big risk at all because I had been to several trials with Malachi and people didn't really talk about him. He was like kind of a non-factor towards votes from what I had known. I also could have just been not in the loop. I'm not positive.
That's fair. Given how like the tribe dynamics change like every episode, do you think that added? Do you think it was like like the twist itself and where like it's a new like we swap every episode? Do you think it adds like a fresh dynamic to the game where people have to socialize like more often, or do you think people could like skate by without having to do much like socially?
I think because pre-merge you have to always have this kind of balance between being social but not being too social so you aren't seen as an overplaying. But then you guys brought in with this twist a lot of like defining characteristics from merge gameplay were brought into the pre-merge, and I think that really tripped me up. Not that it was a bad twist, because the twist was part of the game, and I should have adapted to it. I just don't think my gameplay style was incredibly suited for it, and combined with other things going on in real life, I just didn't have as much time. But I don't want to blame it on that. I think my gameplay definitely should have adapted more to the twist than it did, because at one point in my confession, I was like, "Oh God, I feel like I could definitely get swap screwed." And then when I got on this tribe, I do think if I remember correctly, I was like, "Oh crap, this might be a really bad tribal for me." And things just didn't work out the way that I hoped. But I did have 2 votes that aligned with me, and I'm pretty sure one of them was Ava, because she was texting me as the votes were going down. I think Ava stuck with me. I'm not sure who the other vote was, but I think it might have been Peanut.
All right.
Sorry, I kind of forgot the original question while I was talking.
Oh, that's good. I mean, you pretty much answered it. It was like asking like the social games and tribe dynamics. Um, Segueing into my next question, did you enjoy the fact that this season is like very twist heavy? Even if like you weren't necessarily able to adapt to it, did you still find it was like a breath of fresh air in comparison to other orgs you've played, or like orgs you just played in the past, which like maybe like more like vanilla?
I think I only played one very vanilla season that I would actually call vanilla. Actually, I would say I've played 2 really vanilla seasons, and this is org like 6 for me. And I think I've only played like my first maybe 2 orgs were pretty vanilla, but comparing this twist heaviness with like the duos and the swap, um, did I enjoy how twist heavy it was? I think it would probably be better if I was sitting from a spectator's point of view. But I didn't really struggle with it, so I would say I did enjoy it. But it was a lot on like a busy schedule to participate in.
Yeah, this season definitely like
It's demanding.
yeah, it's very draining, especially when you have to like there's like literally like a new swap every episode, so you have to like make sure that like you've done your rounds with like talking to people and stuff. I
Right.
personally would do terrible in this season. I'm not like good at constant swaps.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Um, Next question. Everyone got assigned like a duo at the start of the season,
Mhm.
based on your guys' like interviews and like compatibility. Do you feel like we gave you a duo that you enjoyed having as your duo and like somebody that you could like work with in the game?
Yeah. I mean, I think based on my responses, probably yeah. But eventually there was just like a point where I was like, and I think it was actually this episode where I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to cut off Alex pretty soon if I want to keep moving. Which would have sucked, but I did really enjoy Alex. I mean, when he gave me more than one word responses in DMs, but that wasn't too common. It was just sometimes I would be like, "How's your tribal going?" and he would be like, "It's going fine, lol." And that was kind of funny, but he was a nice dude, and I'm glad to have worked with him. And I think he'll probably be a little upset to see me go.
Um, Connected to that question, obviously duos have like a big part in the season, and we
Mhm.
asked you guys a question about it on your interview. Do you feel like although like your time in the season has been short lived, do you feel like you found like someone in the cast, whether it be your duo or whether it be somebody else, that you could call your ride or die?
I think Ava was probably my ride or die once we got to that point. See, the thing was, if we didn't have duos this season, I could definitely say that Ava would probably have been my ride or die. But because of the duos twist, she was like heavily connected to Peanut, and that was like more concerning to me than just closely aligning with Ava, because once somebody has a duo partner, it's like you don't know everything that's going to factor into the duo twist, so it's a little hard to ride or die with anybody besides your duo. Counting the twist, I think Alex might have considered me a ride or die. I don't think I really considered him a ride or die because I was not ready to die for Alex. But yeah, I think that pretty much encompasses the question.
Okay. Fuck. I literally had a question in my mind, but it escaped me now. Well, that question's gone because I'm not gonna remember it. It's another. Oh yeah. I sometimes remember to ask this when I do exit interviews. But did you enjoy like this season's like Safari? Like, did you find it enjoyable in like Safari terms?
Oh, I loved the Safari. That's my first Safari ever. I loved it. I think all of the little cute references to the book were adorable. Yeah, I really enjoyed the Safari because I had heard about Safaris and I thought they were something very different. Not different in terms of what I told Alex once when I like just completely made up some definition, but yeah, I really enjoyed the Safari. It was really fun and cute, and yeah, not sure why it has a Stranger Things PFP though.
Is that a Stranger Things PFP?
I'm pretty sure that looks like Steve Harrington and like the A B C D E F G H I J K.
Oh yeah, that is Stranger
I
Things.
I asked Ashley why it was that, and like we don't know.
Who put it
Well,
there? What?
I
there you have it. We don't know.
I mean, I don't think you guys can change it now because I would lose the server, but it's funny.
Fuck man, I had like a really good question. And I can't believe it slipped my mind like that. That's like actually kind of devastating. If it comes back to me, I'll ask it. But on to my next question. Um, it, I know like the dynamic of the game is always changing because new tribes every episode. But if you had to pick like one person in particular that you think has like a high chance of being voted off, given like maybe they're like not doing so well socially or whatnot, like who would you pick as like a prediction to be like the person that's going to be following you into the pre-jury?
Lisa, easily Lisa. Lisa's social isn't there. She talks like when you're at tribal. I feel like maybe I just didn't get to know Lisa well enough, but every conversation I had with Lisa was like, "Let's work together." She was like, "Okay," and that's it. But yeah, I would predict Lisa really, really hard as my pre-jury prediction.
Fair, fair. Um, given what's it called? I don't know why I was saying given. But uh, if you had to pick any people or whatever, who are you rooting for to do well in the season? And do you think they benefited off of your vote off, or it wasn't for the best that you got voted off so early?
I think Alex could probably turn this around. I just hope he doesn't like wallow in losing his duo partner early. So Alex might be able to benefit. And I mean, obviously, I'm going to be rooting for people I was aligned with because I align with people who I really like. So that's like Zap, Alex, Ava. But then people who I wasn't closely aligned with, who I would root for, are like Peanut. Oh, and Sean. Sean without the H.
Yeah, I was gonna say like which Sean because we got two.
Sean without the H is adorable. I love him. He is really sweet. If he backstabbed me, it's fine as long as he wasn't talking crap in confessionals. But I really liked Sean. And I was actually surprised by that because usually when I meet somebody who has just like a random Pokemon profile pic, it's like I feel like they're usually like inactive, like random people. But I was like surprised. I was like, oh my god, I love this dude. So Sean's somebody like new who I met who I would really enjoyed. Oh, and then I feel like I also have to root for Ginger Snap because I kind of knew him coming in.
That's fair. It's very respectable.
I didn't
Um,
get him that much.
What's it called? I think that's like all the questions I can think of at the top of my head, unless like Roman or Uni want to ask something. Um, but if not, my last question, which isn't really all that much a question, but it's just like if you have any concluding remarks or final thoughts or anything you want to say about like your experience or whatnot, now is the time to say it.
I don't think I have anything final to conclude, but I will say that at this point, I think Zap has to win several immunities if she wants to win the game, and I think Zap has a really high threat level. That's just something I didn't get to talk about during the interview, but that's like part of my predictions for future stuff. I think Zap is going to have a hard time getting to Final Tribal because everybody loves Zap. But yeah, I think that's everything. I had a lot of fun playing the season.
Well, I'm glad you had fun playing the season. We had fun watching you play the season.
Why are you saying it like that?
I don't know.
Okay.
But we did
Yeah.
have fun watching you play, at least I did. And I can't speak for everyone else, but
I loved watching you play.
You
Oh,
were
there you have it.
Yeah, I
mess.
loved it. Yeah.
I was actually way less messy this season, I think.
Yeah, you were. But it's still a bit
Really?
overplayed.
I don't even think I was that bad this season. I think I played pretty good. I think I think I disappeared a lot from like Discord, but I think I did pretty alright.
I liked your trust rankings, although like
Well,
it made it a little bit difficult when I was trying to do like power rankings like for the first episode because like usually
I'm
people just
sorry.
write it out, but it was a
I'm
creative
sorry.
way of doing it.
Well, I wanted to like reference the season in some way. Like whenever I do video confessionals, I like set up like things that might like relate to a theme for a season, and I couldn't really do that, so I did like the Instagram thing like from the book.
I mean, it was unique. I wish more people had like a unique spin on like their trust rankings rather than just like typing it out and stuff. Even though that's what I do, but
Right. Well, I know. I'm sure. And like all of the little people emojis were really helpful too.
oh
So if
yeah,
I ever needed to like stop doing my picture trust rankings, I could have used those. Those would have been really easy to keep track of. Also, I mean,
True.
doing like the edited Canva trust rankings with the swaps every episode got so taxing.
Yeah, I was gonna say with this season, doing like creative trust rankings things that like requires you to like take a little bit of time to do it,
Mhm.
kind of seems like a pain in the ass.
Right, but once I started, I didn't want to stop. Yeah.
Well, I guess that concludes this exit interview. I gotta figure out a way to end the recording. This dumbass bot.
Thank you for
You
playing.
do smash stop.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thank you for playing, of course.
Of course. See you guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Give me some spectator perms, please.
Do
Oh
your
yeah, I
do a
got you.
form.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can't really do the form over VC, but I'll post it in exit interview. There you go. After you complete that, just like ping host, and then you'll get spec perms from whoever gives it out to you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Bye.
No problem.